Hello. Welcome to Media Queen TV. We have the amazing Chantal Gerardy in the house, and we're going to be chatting about meaningful marketing that makes more money today. But before we do, Chantal, if you don't know already, she is an international award-winning marketing strategist who works with purpose-led business owners and helps make their marketing more meaningful. Welcome to the show, Chantal.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to be here with you. And of course, you have your own show, which you had me on the other day. So how about we talk about your show, and then I'd love to hear about your background.
Yeah, sure. I run a podcast which is called the Meaningful Marketing Podcast, and it really is about supporting business owners who manage their own marketing or their in-house marketing teams, and helps them just give real practical to-dos on how to actually make their marketing more meaningful. And when we say that, it's around meaningful for you because you enjoy doing it, meaningful for you because it makes money, meaningful up for others because you're delivering a service that they actually want and happy to pay for.
I love that. And meaning also says to me from the heart. And I think, that's something that is really getting the cut through now. I'm seeing with organic marketing strategies. And I know you're an organic marketing girl as well. We don't like to waste money on ads that doesn't work. And so I'd love to hear about what's working for you now with your organic marketing strategies. But before we get into that, I'd love to hear about your background, because I know you've got a really interesting background of how you actually came into doing what you're doing. So let's go back to your past.
Sure, no worries at all. I literally fell butt first into it. I'm originally from South Africa. You'll hear my really funny mixed accent. I moved here in 2008. In South Africa, I was a personal trainer. I was a triathlete. I grew up there. I had a massive family. So with my business that I had, it was really easy because you just have word of mouth referrals. Everyone would say, just go to Chantal. You never had to worry about online marketing. It wasn't even a thing back then. So having a successful business, really, really easy. Getting clients, really easy. And life was good. And then what happened was I got married and I had 3 children. And my husband at the time got the opportunity to move to Australia. So we packed up everything, sold everything, and within 3 months we arrived in Australia. Now that was a completely different story because here in Australia, no grandparents, we had no additional finances because we sold up everything. And by the time we came here, we had nothing. 5 of us were living on one salary. My twins were 4 years old. My youngest was 1 year old. And we were paying our way into the country and we didn't have access to welfare, to Centrelink. So it was a really stressful and difficult time. And then whilst all of that was happening in the first 4 years of being in the country, he was then made redundant twice. So now with these 3 daughters under the age of 5 running around, and now, not having work and still paying our way into the country, still be going through that process, it was a case of, what can I do? And I went, well, I was a fitness instructor in South Africa. I can just do that here on the Gold Coast. The thing is, no one knew me on the Gold Coast. I didn't go to school here. I didn't have families. I was a complete stranger to everyone. And for me, I was like, I need to be able to do something that can build my brand, build my positioning, and get my message out there whilst I can still work around my 3 young daughters. And for me, that was Facebook initially. For me, it was if I go onto Facebook, I could learn how to connect with people and be able to let them know who I am and connect with them and bridge the gap and show my points of difference. And that is what I did. Originally, I went onto Facebook. Now, when I went onto Facebook, originally, I'll tell you right now, spammed. I did all the things that were wrong. I spent countless amounts of hours online, wasting time, and it didn't result in paying clients. And I was so incredibly frustrated because I went, whatever I do online has to work. I can't be online and spend hours and hours on doing it. Remembering that I'm hyperactive, I'm non-techie, I'm a fitness person. I'm not a techie marketing person at all. So I didn't want to spend my life online. It was the last thing I wanted to do. And of course, I had to feed the children at the same time. It was a really, really difficult, stressful time. I couldn't have what I was doing not work. So I started to look at different things. And some of the things I looked at were business coaches, where they went, just show up on social media every day. And I go, right, I'm doing that every day, but it's not working. And show up and do what? And then you hear, oh, go on and post consistently. And I'm like, post consistently what? And they go on and create engaging content or grow your profile. I'm like, I'm on there, I'm doing stuff, it's not working, I'm not actually getting paying clients. And then they would go, I'll do a live every single day. And I'd go and talk about what? And besides, I look ridiculous on lives. And I just didn't feel confident doing it anyway. And I was like, none of this stuff is actually generating me clients. So I went through a whole sort of analysis of what I was doing and what was working and what was not working. And one of the conclusions that I came to is that a strategy is the difference between it working or not working. And that is why I called myself a strategist, because what I worked out was that if you've got the end in mind, and the end is how much money you want to make, then you work backwards and go, what is it that I have that I can deliver to the world? Who are those people that are prepared to pay money for that? Where are they online? How do I communicate to them? And how do I get them to take the step-by-step process to where they become a lead and where they become a client? And that is literally a strategy and how strategy works. And that is what I became an expert in literally falling into it. Because what happened was within the first 5 years of being on the Gold Coast, what I did worked. I actually grew a 6-figure health, wellness and fitness center on the Gold Coast. But what was really interesting is at that time, I'd now left my husband. So now I'm a single mom, 3 children with a fitness center. And I had all these subcontractors. And in my mind, the subcontractors would pay me rent every week. And we would all refer to each other and we'd all get clients. We'd all live happily ever after. But every week came by and they didn't have any money because they didn't have any clients. And what started to happen was they started to ask me, Chantal, what did you do? How did you do it? And I went, well, come into one of the fitness studios. Let's turn it into a meetup room. And let me start teaching you on how to actually do what I did. So you can start to make money. So you can pay me rent. So I can feed my family. And for about 5 years, I did both of those businesses and then just sold my health, wellness and fitness business just before COVID and became an expert now in this space. So I did things backwards. I went and have won international and national awards for my strategies and the strategies that I do and the support that I give purpose-led business owners. And I also got a diploma in social media marketing and a certain business. So that's my very long, thorough story.
Amazing. Gosh, one thing I know about you, and I met you quite a few years ago, and it was through networking circles actually originally, and you have been a massive networker and a massive action taker, and you're always questioning what's out there at the moment, and I see you constantly tweaking and testing different things. And that's the thing about business and marketing now with such a rapidly changing area, how to get the cut through now. And so what have you noticed over that time since COVID? What have you noticed that's really changed in the marketing landscape?
Believe it or not, it's actually something that all business owners should be looking at, whether or not it was COVID or not COVID, but we constantly have to be looking at our buyer, who our buyer is, and looking at our offer and going, what is happening in our buyer's life? Because when their pain points change, when their aspirations change, we have to adjust our content plans to suit. And our offer then may not now be desirable, because when you create an offer, it should be desirable, meaning that somebody's happy to pay for it. And if it's not desirable, they're not going to pay for it. And if you're not effectively communicating the outcome of that product or service, people are not going to pay for it. So what happened during COVID is that, some businesses did very well and other businesses didn't do well. People had to look at their offers and refine their offers. They had to re-look at the way that they effectively communicated their offers because people's pain points had changed. Their buying habits had changed. And we're going through it right now, with the looming sort of recession that's been talked about here in Australia. A lot of people are becoming a bit more conservative in how they spend their money. It doesn't mean they're not spending money. It just means that we have to use more convincers. We have to connect with them a little bit more. We have to be a little bit more outcome-based. We've got to take the time to nurture those relationships a little bit more. So when we're constantly looking at who our ideal customer is for the offer that we have, we've got to make sure that the connection between the offer and the audience, there's congruency, and we've got to make sure that we're constantly changing the way that we communicate to them.
Yeah, I love that. And so many different software platforms out now. And now with AI, of course, that's gone crazy through COVID as well. So now we've got a heap of information out there. So now it's a really interesting time. And of course, a lot of expenses have gone up for people. There's a lot more financial stress. We've got the stress of potentially World War III potentially could be on the horizon. And, so there is a lot of uncertainty in the market. And I know a lot of people with their marketing, they get very impatient, right? They just want results quickly. They just want really quick results. And they say it takes a lifetime to be an overnight success, and people want money in the bank. And that's what we're talking about today, meaningful marketing that makes more money. And so breaking that down, what are some of the strategies that you've put in place specifically that have really worked well for you and that are working well now?
Look, I'm going to start with mindset straight away. And I know it's a little bit off the beaten track, but I'm going to say this, and you might think I'm being a little bit woo-woo or whatever. But over the years that I've been doing this now, which has been a long time, not only doing it in my own businesses, but also doing it for other people's businesses and getting results. What I've noticed is that even though everybody, say, for example, has access to me and my strategies and what I'm doing, and we've all got access to the same sort of education and platforms, it's not like the algorithm works worse for one person than for the other, especially if you're following a strategy. But what I've noticed is that sometimes some business owners do exceptionally well. They apply it and they do really well, and others are applying it and they don't do well. And for me, I was like, I really want to know what this thing is. What is the thing that is the bridge or the gap that's making these people do well and these people not doing well? And for me, that comes down to the money mindset. If your energy and your attitude towards your marketing, your business, or even being online, if your attitude is negative, because I hear so many business owners going, I hate being online. I hate it. Hate being online. I hate being in front of the camera. I hate creating emails. Then don't have an online business. Seriously. Because that energy, that attitude that you're putting into everything can be felt by everyone. And it can be as simple as even the content that you create. If you are feeling negative, if you are feeling uninspired, if you're feeling like it's a chore, and if you feel like you're not genuinely helping someone and you're not really focused on the people on the other side of the sale versus you making money, and you're coming from like a money mindset where you're fearful of that, the reality is that people are going to sense it. They're going to sniff it. I almost say it's like a dog. A dog can sniff it. People will sniff it in your marketing. It's like, buy now, hurry and buy this now. And people will feel that, as opposed to, this product is absolutely superb for being able to help people with this, this, and that. If you're struggling with this, this, and that, these are some of the things that it's been able to help you with. So we'd love you to explore this product. It has a completely different energy. And when people take the time and they genuinely care about who's on the other side of the sale, it can be felt through your content marketing. It can be felt through you on a sales call. It can be felt through you in your email marketing. So there is no such thing as a quick fix. People go all the time, quick fix, let's just go to paid advertising, quick fix. If it's not working organically, it's not going to work with paid ads. End of story. And unless you've got a massive budget to experiment with, don't do it. So for me, I say do not outsource and do not invest in paid advertising unless you're an over six-figure business owner. The rest of the money you should be investing in yourself.
Yeah, I think that's so important. It's foundational. And, if you haven't got the mindset right, you're not going to put yourself out there. And, it is a time where people follow people. We want to see your face. We want to see you out there. We want to see what you're up to. We want to see what you care about, all those things. And, there's very strategic ways you can do social media. And I know you're a strategy girl. And I know also you share, quite a few personal posts as well. But I remember you saying we're overseas together. Was it in... Where were we together? We were in Cebu in the Philippines. We're in the Cebu in the Philippines together. And you were saying that everything you do with your marketing is very strategic, right? And you do share also those personal posts. So how do you balance out the personal posts to the business posts that you put out? And what is your strategy around that?
Sure. So a lot of people freak out because they go, I don't want my personal profile attached to my business page. And unfortunately, social media is social. So if there's no face behind your business or your brand, you are cutting off an arm of your marketing. So I always say that to people. But most times people are saying that because they just don't understand the privacy settings. If you actually understood what people are really seeing And nowadays you can actually turn off so many of those features and hide so many features. If you actually improved your confidence in it, you would be able to show the business side of your personal element and then be able to hide the rest of your private stuff. So you can actually do that. So at the end of the day, I think confidence is really important, and understanding those privacy settings is key first before you decide. Then if you make the decision that you're not going to have a personal brand, you're going to have to make damn sure that your business brand still has a personable element to it. Because again, it is social media. So if they're not going to see a face, and if there's not going to be a person behind the brand, there has to be something else. So I always say, if you don't have a personal brand, you should at least have humor, sunsets, coffee, dogs, wine. They are usually elements that you can put into your business brand. Obviously, it's got to be in alignment with your values and your customers' values. But you're going to have to put that personable element into your business brand. Because another thing that you see people doing is when they've got their personal profile and their business profile, even if they're public. So if you go into my personal is 100% public, and my business is obviously 100% public. I'm public. My entire profile is public. I'm happy to share everything. I know what people say, but I'm also prepared for if somebody was to say something or come at me, I know how to use the platform. So I'm confident in the platform that I'd be able to report, I'd be able to block, I know how to do, I know what to do, right? So that's the confidence element. But the second part is when it comes to your profile versus your page, people on their personal profile never post about their business. However, people on their personal profile are most likely to buy from that business. And often people never remind them and go, hey, just letting you guys know, if you know of anyone who's interested in this, I've currently got this thing going, and talk to them like they're your friends and go, I've got this going. So like just reminding them that this is what you do, because they go, oh, that's right, you do that. Shit, I actually do know someone, right? And then what happens is on the business profile, they forget to put the personal part on it. And they forget that the personal part of it is really going to help their business brand as well. So I always say, don't forget to remind your personal friends about what you do on your business page. And don't forget on your business page to put your human element into that, because people have connected with you based on you, on your glitter, on your juice. There are a gazillion of all of us in the world, but there's no other Aldwyn and there's no other Chantal. So at the end of the day, when we are making decisions, when we want to invest money in things, we are going to look at personally you. We are going to look at your values. We are going to connect with you. I know that clients have come to me just based on the fact that I prioritize health, wellness, and fitness. People come to me based on the fact that I love my dogs. They come to me based on the fact that I'm a little bit cheeky. So these are the values. If you understand who you are as a person, it's important then to go, who am I and how am I going to portray that? Because I'm now going to attract more of my tribe, because there is someone for everyone. There's a gazillion marketing agencies out there, but people are going to look at me and go, you know what? I'm going to work with this chick because I get her vibe. I want to work with her. I like her vibe.
Yeah, I love that. And as they say, your vibe attracts your tribe. And I do love your vibe online. I love seeing you out camping, having drinks of wine and traveling. And, I see that you're having a great lifestyle. And I know you achieve so much. Like you're like a machine. You're just out there, and I don't know how you do it. I really don't know how you do it. So how important has been the health and fitness for you to actually be productive and effective in business?
Yeah, look, a lot of people ask me, like what are some of the habits that I have or things that I do in order to be able to achieve what I've achieved. And I think it comes back to that South African culture. In South Africa, there's sort of a very high work ethic. And there's very much this culture of like, because we don't have welfare, we don't have Centrelink. So the work ethic is really high, and if there's no work, there's no pay. And it's probably one of the reasons why I've had to do some mindset work, throughout my business stages as well. So a lot of that comes from that as well. And then on top of it, I did triathlon. So in South Africa, when I did triathlons, that's 3 disciplines, and you've got to put those 3 disciplines together. And you can't do all those 3 things all the time. You can't run every day, cycle every day, swim every day, and then do a triathlon every day. Like you'd burn out. So you'd have to structure and do everything in phases. You'd have to go, well, if I do a long thing here today, I'm probably going to have a rest day there and then probably do my sprint day there. And I can't do a strength training day like on top of my my long endurance sessions because I'm going to be too sore. So it was all about managing your fitness, managing your energy, managing it so that you don't burn out. And then again, another life lesson, you know, I had twins. I mean, first-time parent, 1 month married, identical twin girls. And because they were premature as well, having to go, who pooed last, who weed last, who needed the immunization, who was sick the last time, like having to manage 2 kids and even breastfeeding, you know, in the early stages when I was breastfeeding, who had what amount, like I had to be organized, I had to be disciplined. I had to manage my time. I had to manage my energy because else I was going to burn out. So I think that's, along with, you know, being involved in health, wellness, and fitness, is something that like I've incorporated into this. And when I started to grow my business and they grew really quickly and they did really well, my priority was never going to be at the expense of my health and well-being. I was always going to still prioritize health and well-being. I was still always going to be doing fitness. I've got a triathlon this week. It's my first one since 2004 when I competed. So it's like, so I still wanted to be able to play. Play was still very much an important part of it. And I didn't want to spend my life online. I didn't want to be one of those people where I'm burnt out, I'm aggravated, I'm not enjoying what I do. I want to genuinely help people. I want to do what I love to do, and I love talking. So that's why I'm on this. I love to share education. And you know what? That gives me joy then going online, because going online and doing things well and following a strategy gets me results. And then I can still have the life that I love. I can take my camper van out. I can still travel. I can go play with my dogs, and I can do all of this. So for me, I think if there's one key thing to take away from this is that, well, a lot of key things actually, get used to not liking stuff. But when there's joy on the other side of doing what you don't like to do, just do it. And improving your skills gives you confidence, which is going to make you better at doing stuff. And then the other thing is time blocking. I know, I remember we were about to go on a catamaran in the Philippines with Aldwyn, and I was like, time blocking. This is how you time block. Because if it's not in your diary, you're not going to do it. Like, it's simple as that. When people come to me and they go, my marketing's not working, I go, show me in your diary where you work on your marketing. Show me in your diary where you work in your marketing. They're like, it's not in my diary. And I go, well, then you're not doing it. So it's like, it's you're not your marketing that's not working, it's you. So make sure you time block.
Yeah, time blocking is great. And look, every time I've seen you speak, Chantal, you're just such a wealth of information. I always pick up some new tips and tricks. And I love that your mind goes 100 miles an hour like mine, probably both high ADHD, I'd imagine, or just a little bit of that anyway, somewhere in there. You know, this is the life of the entrepreneur, right? You got to be thinking quick. You got to be acting quick, and you got to take action. You got to be disciplined and organized. I remember my dad saying to me years ago, Aldwyn, you got to be disciplined and organized. It's a crucial thing. And of course, I was such a rebel. Anything my dad said to do, I did the opposite. And it cost me so much over the years not being disciplined and organized. And it's been a real process for me to get disciplined and get organized, you know, because it will cost you. If you don't, it'll cost you big time. It'll cost you in your finances. It'll cost you in relationships. It'll cost you in so many different ways. And so I think that's absolutely crucial. And time blocking, and a lot of successful people do things in 15-minute chunks. And what you were showing me was on your Google Calendar, how you were doing all the color coding and all of that, which is so cool. I love the way you do that. Do you also have a morning practice where you do you meditate? What does your day look like?
Yeah, 100%. So when I get up in the morning, I kind of ask myself how I'm feeling and what I need. And sometimes that would be a podcast, like a mindfulness podcast. Sometimes that would be journaling. Sometimes that would be somatic work. Sometimes it would be breath work. Sometimes I wake up and it says watch Netflix. That doesn't happen too often. And I always check myself if that's a procrastination thing or if that's actually, which it's not. But I ask myself what I'm going to do. But sometimes I do it the other way around as well, because I get up and I'll have to do my fitness thing first as well. So depending on if I'm training, because I do a lot of charity events. So depending on if I'm like training for a charity event and say I've got to do like a 50 to 100K cycle, I've got to get up early and do that first. So then when I come back, I'll just do it the other way around. I'll often go sit by the pool and then I'll go do that there. So I am a little bit flexible with all of that. Sometimes I like to also ground. So I'll go out especially with the dogs, I'll go out barefoot. I'll walk barefoot. I'll go and I'll ground myself. I love to be around water. So you'll often find me in my camper van. I'll take it out for the weekend. I'll be at a water hole and I'll literally be grounding myself, just getting off of technology and just checking back in again. Because, with this undiagnosed ADHD thing and whatever, my juice and my glitter to the world is inspiration and joy and positivity and all of that. But I have to keep myself tanked up. So I'm very aware of that, especially as I get older. I know I'm only 21, but especially as I'm getting older, I know that I have to refuel myself. So I have to do these other things. So breath work, I love breath work. It's a great thing. That's one of my favorite modalities. But then I'm also crazy and I'll go do sprint training and fitness stuff as well, which is also my like venting stuff. So
I love that. And I found lately I've been doing a lot of morning exercise. I've been doing like 90-minute walks on the beach and swimming in the ocean. I do it actually 3 times a week. And in the past, I would have felt guilty about that. I would have thought to myself, I've got so many things to do. I shouldn't be walking for 90 minutes on the beach. Nowadays, it's a must for me. Now, I love grounding myself and, living on the Gold Coast. We are so blessed here. It's like heaven on earth. So actually grounding on the sand and walking and taking in nature. And sometimes I do bushwalks through the spit. I'll go up through the bush area there. And I just absolutely love it. And I find whenever I exercise and I make that time, I am so much more productive for the day. I have so much more energy. I feel so much better. It really makes the world of difference. And in fact, by putting that time into exercise, you're probably saving yourself a whole lot of hours of procrastination or feeling low energy or, whatever it is for the day. So yeah, absolutely love the exercise. Now I'm curious when you said in the morning, you check in, you're going to journal, you're going to watch Netflix. How do you know you're getting the right answer there?
Look, I've done a lot of work, man. It's just like always a work in progress. But, I just lie there and I just kind of ask myself, I try to get out of my head and into my heart. Actually, I shouldn't say try. I do. I get out of my head and into my heart because I can be over analytical. So it's about checking into my body and my heart more than it is and trying to get out of my head. Again, I said trying, take that out. I'm working on that. I'm trying to work on that. I'm working on that. So yeah, 100%. So it is about doing that, but that's a conscious decision that I've made. I've worked with coaches and I've invested money in myself to work with coaches so that I could be better in this space, because if I'm better, I can do better. And, you were talking about earlier about how exercise gives you so much more energy. Exercise also improves creativity massively. When you finish exercising, you actually are more creative as well, which is so important. So I'll actually encourage my clients to go for a walk, only work 9 to 5, get out from behind their desk and go get some sunshine. I will. These are some of the things I'll say, because I can see where they're stuck in a rut and they actually need to, in order for their online marketing to be better, they actually need to get offline.
Yeah, so important. And I agree 100%. I mean, I worked in the media for 20 years in traditional media, TV, radio, print. It was go, 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 constant deadlines. I burnt out several times. I used to get sick all the time. And, for me, if I hadn't actually made that time for self-care, God knows where I'd be now. And I know a lot of journalists that I used to work with, a lot of them died in their early 60s of stress. A lot of them were big drinkers, big smokers. Now, I don't mind a drink every so often, and I was a big smoker. But, if you don't make that time to nurture yourself, to love yourself, it's like this big journey of love, that the self-love that I think happens through the entrepreneurial journey too, for those who survive and who thrive, who make it past the first 5 years. The 20% of businesses that make it past the first 5 years, because 80% fail in the first 5 years, and 80% of those that survive fail in the next 5 years. So if you've been in business more than 10 years, well, congratulations, you've been in the top whatever percent that is, right? Not much. So for me, like, I've done things like yoga, like breath work, as you said. In fact, we did some breath work together at one of the personal development events that we went to. Things like that. Meditation has been crucial for me as well. And I always used to think I can't meditate, but now I just put a 5-minute or 10-minute meditation on in the morning. I connect with animals. I connect with nature. I get into gratitude as much as possible. even when life throws some full-on challenges, like just in the last 24, 48 hours, I've evicted an ice addict out of my house, which was really full-on. I've had a lot of challenges in the last 24 to 48 hours. But I step back from that and I go, okay, how is this happening for me, right? I always think that, okay, there's a reason I've attracted this into my life, and it's taught me so many things about boundaries, about being, tougher, about standing my ground, about listening to my intuition, because we will keep attracting the same crap in business or in life until we get the learnings, right? It's crucial. So that mindset you talk about is absolutely so important, like the iceberg, right? The 95%. And if you think of our mind, like with 60,000 thoughts a day, we have 98% of the same we had yesterday, and 80% for most people are negative.
Yep.
Now, how's that going to go with your online marketing, right? You're just going to be, negative Nelly the whole time and hang out and have a pity party with all your friends on Facebook, or are you going to, get out and share something that's going to change the world in some way, right? What are you doing? What are you standing for in your messaging? And I'd love to look at that at the heart, because really, Chantal, today we can give people every single marketing strategy in the world, but if they don't have their mindset right and they're not clear on their purpose and where they're going with that, then they're probably not going to stick with it, right? How important is purpose and passion at the heart of your marketing?
Yeah, look, 100%. As I said earlier, if you are sales focused and it's all about the sales and it's not about the customer, you're looking at the money and you're not looking at the people, and you're not showing interest in their outcomes and then customer service and all of that as well. So just the universal law is just not going to reward you because it's not focused on the right thing, which is so incredibly important. So whenever with a business owner, the most important thing is to be totally aware of what your juice and what your thing is. Because same thing, I'll use the example of when I was a personal trainer. Personal trainers, a lot of them would, when they get a new client, they just destroy them on burpees and make them do like 1,000 burpees in a 1 hour session. It doesn't matter if they're new mom, old mom, granny, grandpa, whatever. They're just like, you burpees, And I'm like, there's so many different exercises that you can give people that are going to make them want to come back. I used to joke and I used to say, get on the floor, do a push-up, now stand up and do a jump. And they go, you just made me do a burpee. And I went, yes, I did. That's And the thing is that my whole thing was, as a personal trainer, is that we've got to get them to come back, because if they don't come back, they're not going to keep doing it. So as business owners, you want to make sure that whatever the strategies you are doing, you enjoy. So for example, I'm a talker. So it makes sense for me to be on podcasts, at speaking events. I love writing and being creative. So it makes sense for me to have a YouTube channel. It makes sense for me to co-author, blog, and write articles, because that brings me joy. It does also have to result in money, of course. So it has to be purposeful and make money. But I show up every day and it's enjoyable for me. And of course, I've got to do some ugly things in the business that I don't enjoy doing, but it's worth it. It's worth it. And like you said, there's that gratitude part. There's that gratitude part where you go, thank you, and you show gratitude for everything, and then it's worth it. So it's an attitude that you choose. I always say, choose your attitude. It's a choice every single day. So purpose is really important, understanding who you are and what type of person you want to be, and checking yourself and going, do I really hate being online, or I just feel uncomfortable because I don't know what people are seeing? Do I really hate being online, or is it just that I really haven't taught myself how to create a Facebook page and create content? Do I really hate doing video marketing and reels, or is it I've just really never gone in and tried it before and I'm just scared that I'm not going to know how to do it straight away? Or is it just something I need to learn? So just looking at that, which will really help business owners as well, create meaningful strategies that are going to make them more money.
Yeah, I love that. Inch by inch, everything's a cinch, as they say, right? And everything is hard until it becomes easy. Right? Everything is hard until it becomes easy. One of my favorite sayings, and is breaking things right down. So a lot of people say, oh, I really want to do marketing, get publicity, but my website's not ready. My funnels aren't ready. This isn't ready. That's not ready. And they'll never be ready. These people will never be ready, right? Because I speak to these people 5-10 years later, they're still not ready. They're still got to get their website done. So the very first step, you want to get your website done. If you're going to do it yourself, the very first step is to start your computer, right? What's the next step? Okay, right? So, breaking it down into bite-sized chunks, I think is so important. As they say, how to eat an elephant one bite at a time. Now we've got some people joining us live on Instagram. We've got Pete Wilson Music. Hello there. We've got Brand Brand Bar Creative, Brand Bar Be Creative, Brand Bar Be Creative. Good to see you, Gail Glasner. We've got Alfred Zerfus has joined us, Chad Furman, hello, and those on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're joining us from, hello. Let us know where are you joining us from. Do you have any questions for Chantal? And we do have one here from Brand Bar Be Creative. It says, I'm not doing anything, I'm frozen. I love creating content, but it's freaking hard to know how to package it. I'm bits of everything. I created a brand by accident. Automotive, any tips on, so they created a brand by accident, they're not doing anything, they're feeling a bit stuck. Any tips?
I always say hashtag just get it up. Just get it up. So it's awesome that you said that you are very creative. Great. You're like halfway there, right? The problem that we see with creatives is creatives over create and don't execute. So my advice to you was set yourself a rule that when you create something, get it up, and you're not allowed to create something until you get it up. That would be my advice.
Yes, get it up, and that way you'll always have a happy ending. And it's actually it's actually Brand Babe Creative. It's hard with these Instagram names sometimes. Like, how do we put it's like a puzzle putting these Brand Babe Creative? Thank you so much for that, Babe.
Awesome.
Brand Babe
and
Creative.
if you send me a DM, I can send you. I've got a 21 content ideas that outsmart the algorithm, so I can send that through to you as well if you want to send me a DM.
Yeah, beautiful, fantastic. Thank you, Chantal. That's great. Oh my gosh. Okay. Meaningful marketing that makes more money. Okay. So how to lead the marketing to the sale. What's a nice, elegant strategy there for people to lead people through that journey?
Okay, sure. Yeah, no, pleasure. Thank you. So how can you make more money? So at the end of the day, everything has to lead somewhere. So whatever you do, it has to lead to making a purchase. But remember the people behind the purchase and what the outcomes are for them. So say, for example, we've got this thing over here. I don't know what it's called, but that's my little thing for my, what's it called? There we go. So we've got this over here and we go, okay, like what's this little thing over here? We've got to sell this little thing. And we go, great. Like what solutions does this solve for someone? And go nut those out. Right? What are the outcomes of having this? And think of every practical example. And don't just use single words like it's functional. It is functional, but use single words. That's great. But start thinking of things as well, like longer sentences, like you can use a headset. You can use a normal headset on an iPhone, right? So use longer sentences and then single words as well. So now we're starting to put together all the outcomes of all the things for this product over here. Now what we've got to do then is determine where are those people? Where are they hanging out? So ideally, what type of person buys it? Now, if you tell me everyone's going to buy this, I'm going to say no. That's the worst thing you could do is say everyone will buy this. You've got to go real deep and go, who really is going to buy this? I can tell you right now, younger kids are not going to buy this because this is old-fashioned. I've got my three daughters now are 20 years old and 17 years old. And I can tell you right now, they'd laugh at me with this, and they would never in their entire lives wear one of these, right? I do. I still love it. I'm old-fashioned, and I'm 48 years old, all right? So now we know the younger people are not going to be buying it. Only the older people are going to be buying it, like me, who wear this type of headsets, because the others are wearing Apple AirPods. There's no way they wouldn't go out without the Apple AirPods, right? So we've got to be clear on who exactly those people are and what channel that they're going to be on. And then we have to go, right, which channel are they on? Which channel do they frequent? And then get very good at that channel. So learn that channel. So for me, my first channel I ever got really good on was Facebook. And then I realized that Google and YouTube are very important channels because they are the highest search engine channels. So now that we know what channel we're going to learn, and just choose one, for goodness sake, just choose one and get good at one. If you really want to make money, get one right before you even move to the next one, okay? So, for example, if you decide that it's Facebook because older people like me are going to be on Facebook, and we go on the platform, we go, right, older people like me check Facebook 8 times a day. It's the number 3 channel that is used for search engines. So we go, that's a good platform to be on. Plus there's communities on that platform. So that's really good. I go, right, I need to now and go create content on that platform. So then I look at the audience on that platform and I go, that platform prefers They don't prefer short content. They like a little bit of storytelling. So we go, Facebook likes a little bit of short storytelling. The good thing about Facebook is it's not a picture platform. So it doesn't matter if I literally take my camera and take a shitty type photo of this. It makes no difference because they don't really care. Whereas more product-based platforms like Instagram, you probably would have to have sort of nicer photographed images of that. So now I'm on my platform. I know who my audience is on the platform. I know how to communicate to them because I know the outcomes of my product. I now need to get them off social media. All right. So we have to respect the platform, and the platforms generally want you to stay on that platform. They don't want you to go elsewhere. All right. Which means we can't constantly be sending them to a landing page, a lead magnet, a product, or whatever, because they'll actually stunt the algorithm for you, right? So we have to respect the platforms, and we've got to understand how they work. So we go, right, if we create meaningful content, people know how to use it. If you've set up your platform correctly, if it's Facebook, for example, you'll have your website on the banner. You'll have an arrow that says, learn more or visit our website. And then you'll have the call to action button that says, here's our website. So people will know if they read your content and you're providing good content, how to go and find you. And we want them to get off the platform. The number one job of your marketing is to get an email address of the right person. So we get the email address of a person who's interested in our product. We want to make sure that we use our content to qualify and disqualify those people. We want to get them off social media, and we want them to do two things. Either give us your email address when you buy, or they're not going to buy. So we want to make sure that we can capture that lead. So if it's a product-based business, you might want to do something like here's a coupon code because you never bought from us. So if you buy from us, we'll give you this coupon code. Put in your email address. Or it might be, hey, we've got this resource on how you can use this product more effectively, and download the resource. We're now collecting an email address. Or for a service-based business, it might be book a call. It might be visit my webinar. But we're all capturing email addresses, because once we capture the email address, we now own that lead. When it's on social media, we don't, because if social media kills your platform and just suddenly deletes you, which happens all the time, you've now lost all your followers. And I've had people who have put together Facebook groups of 10,000 people of their ideal client and never had their email address. And now they've lost their group and they've lost that leads and had to start again. So your number one job is to get an email address. So now we get the email address, and we've got to make sure that the language on the website and the sales process is so quick and easy that when the right person gets there, they go, hell yeah, I'll give you my email address, because everyone knows that they're going to be marketed to. So we want to make sure that it is so clever and so personalized to them that they will actually end up giving you the email address and throw it at you and say, take my email address and show me your emails. I actually want that. And that's the purpose of your content. That's the purpose of the sales process on the website and the language that you use. And then the third part of that is we've now got the email address. And now it's about going and it's about building that know, like, and trust. It is about connecting with them. It is about using convincers. It is about sharing your credibility with them so that they look at you and they go, oh my gosh, you know what? There's 1 million people selling this. And in fact, I could go onto Temu and buy this. But from Chantal, I can buy this. I love her shit. Look at the great stuff she keeps sending me. I don't care if this is $1 million and Temu's $2. I'm going to spend my money with you because I love your jam. And that is what we want. So when people say to me like, oh, I don't want to bother people by email marketing, or I don't want to bother people by using Facebook groups, I go, you're not bothering the person who really wants to buy this when you are helping them. And that's what your marketing is about. It has to be meaningful to them, meaningful to you. So for me, really, that is called a funnel. Okay, it's a big F word. I always say it's a big F word. It's a funnel. All right. That it's how we go from social media, get the email address, get to the website, go to email marketing, capture that lead, build know, like, and trust, and continue to sell to those people and build a relationship with them.
Yeah, I love that. So basically, get it up, have the big F word, and then you're going to have the happy ending, right? That's basically
100%. Sum it up. Just sum it up, man.
And be entertaining, right? Okay, this is what we just did here. Add a bit of humor in there. You know, a lot of business owners, they get way too serious, don't they, Chantal? You know, I think we need to lighten it up a bit, have a bit of fun with what you're doing, get creative. We definitely need more creativity. And we do have fluoride in the water supply, as a little side note, which actually calcifies your pituitary gland, which is your third eye, your higher intelligence. So people are being dumbed down with fluoride in the water supply. So that's a whole other issue. So we want to bring that creativity back. We want to bring the creativity back. Chris Van Dyke has joined us on Instagram. Don Martin, good to see you there. Hello, hello. If you have any questions for Chantal, she is an expert when it comes to funnels and when it comes to marketing, meaningful marketing. Now I say funnels, I just think the F word. She's an expert with the big F word. And now for some of us, it's been a while. But anyway, let's not go there. So moving right along. Now, I love that. Yes, get the email addresses, get them off social media ideally. And there's an elegant way to do that too. And you can get email addresses through Facebook groups. And that's been interesting to see the transition. Now, pages were really big once upon a time. Nowadays, pages are mostly dead, I'm finding. Facebook groups, you can get email addresses out of there and ask permission to market to people out of there. I'm seeing that a lot in the Facebook groups. So how much do you use Facebook groups and how important is that for marketing nowadays?
Yeah, so I mean, I've got a strategy for Facebook groups. It's a 3-point strategy, and that is the great thing about groups is that your community, somebody's already pulled your community together. All right, someone else has gone and done all the hard work for you, pulled the community together, and now there's an opportunity for you to do it. But you do have to be respectful to the administrators of the group, to the purpose of the group, to the rules and the regulations within that group of what you can do. But if people are in there and they're asking for help with something, you are allowed to pitch. So number one is your pitch. So about going into those groups and providing help. If they say, I mean, yesterday somebody said, I'm really having difficulties. I don't know how to do a funnel. I went in there and said, this is who I am. This is what I do. And I've got all these free resources on my website. Have a look. And if you want to work one-on-one, just book a call, right? So people are out there asking for help, and you can go out into those Facebook groups and you can actually go and you can pitch, but you've got to be able to make sure that you're effectively communicating your point of difference and have a really conversational type call to action as well. The second part of that is posting. A lot of the groups will allow you to post and promote on certain days. So that is around going and Monday might be your posting day, or Tuesday or Friday or whatever. So going in and then posting, valuable content. We share all our blogs, we share all our podcasts, all our top tips on what we're doing in there, so that we'd be, as soon as somebody in a Facebook group, they're seeing my stuff. Now when people are asking for help, everyone tags me because they go, oh my gosh, Chantal created, such a great training on Black Friday funnels. She's a funnel expert, go work with her. So you're positioning yourself there as the expert. And the last P, because I love acronyms. So we got pitching, we got posting, and the last one is peacocking. And that is about you creating your own Facebook group and then calling those people and going, this is who we are. This is what we're about. This is what we promise to do for you. And this is what we expect from you. And then attracting those people in as a lead generation funnel. So for me, we use Facebook groups in those 3 different ways. And there is a podcast on the Meaningful Marketing podcast where you can listen to that.
Yeah, brilliant. I love that. And there's so many opportunities and so many groups that do offer those promo opportunities. I'm quite blown away when we see on our socials. We're actually getting together a big list of them, which we're going to offer as a lead magnet soon, of all the different Facebook groups that you can market for free in. There are just so many out there where you know where to look. And I think, that's the thing. How can you offer more value to your people? Who are your people? For those maybe starting in business, Chantal, that don't know who their market is yet, what would you say to those people?
It's actually getting so much easier now with ChatGPT. So
Right.
You do have to, I think everyone, when you're getting into business, the best thing that I did, and I recently started another business just not a month ago, almost a year ago now, actually, time flies.
Yes.
And you have to do a massive brain dumping session, and you have to do a brain dumping session on your avatar, and you've got to do a brain dumping session on your product or your offer, and you need to do that, and you really do need to massage it. You did mention something about, time blocking, and some people talk about the 15-minute thing. That doesn't work for me. I actually get in flow. So for me, 15 minutes to stop and start, for me to get re-engaged again would just destroy me. So I know my body and I can't do that. I find if I get past a half an hour, I can go into an hour, 2 hours, and I can do a 3 hour, and I can get so much done. And all my juice and all my glitter and all my magic will start to happen, after that 1 hour, and then it'll just get better and better. So I'll actually create a 3-hour block of brain dumping where I'll go in and I'll massage and explore that. And nowadays it's so much easier, because then you can take that into ChatGPT now and you can ask it to refine it. Now, if you do it the other way around and you just take your website, put it in there and say, do my avatar, it's not going to be as good as you putting the HR into the AI. And that is the human intelligence into the AI. So I always say, put the human intelligence, the strategy, the thought, the processes, do you first, and then go in and ask ChatGPT to work with it. If you do it the other way around, ChatGPT is not always right. So if you do it by asking without putting the human intelligence into it, and you just go and you put stuff in there, it could just go, Baba Black Sheep was white, and you're just going to go, yes, and now you've just wasted all your time, energy, and everything by going to the marketplace, and it's not actually right. It is always human intelligence first.
Yeah, I love that. That is absolutely brilliant. Yep. Beautiful, beautiful. Got Rachel here. Hello, Rachel Gascoigne. Rachel
Gascoigne. Rachel Gascoigne.
Gascoigne. Oh, Gascoigne.
Gascoigne,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Hello, Rachel. Good to see you there. Nice to see you. We are going to be wrapping up the show shortly. So if you do have any questions for Chantal, then pop them in the chat, and we'd love to share them here today. Some fantastic strategies already shared. I absolutely love all that. Now, what else do people need to do with their marketing now to get the cut through? So many people saying, oh, I'm doing all these posts, I'm just not getting any engagement. What do you say to those people?
A couple of things. Firstly, engagement is ego metrics. Nowadays, because there's so much in the feed, we don't really engage. I mean, think about do you sit and engage with everyone that you see? No, you don't. However, if you've got a scroll stoppable headline, so a headline of every post that you do that will stop the right person from scrolling, you will connect with them here even if they don't engage. I've had people who've watched my content for 5 years, never engaged, reach out and want to connect. So don't be caught up in ego metrics. The second thing is make sure that you're looking at your data. So go in and look at your data, your insights, and your demographics, because sometimes what you're doing might be getting engagement, but it's not actually hitting the right customer, which means it's not working. And if something's not working, stop doing it. Please stop doing it. People wake up every day and continue to do the same thing, expecting a different result. If it's not working, it's not working. So give yourself 4 to 6 weeks, change it, because it's not working. So really important. And the last thing is making sure that you really have a call to action in place, because people are out there and they're creating content, but they never have a call to action. And when I say call to action, I'm not talking about a hard sell. I'm talking about a next step. Do you want them to PM, DM, learn more, message me, email me, check out my website, have a look at my podcast? Give them a next step to stay in your marketing circle, because the ultimate goal is to get them onto your email list, and it'll be through one of those platforms. But we have to make sure, if we just give value, but we never actually say, this is what we do, this is how we can help people, and this is the next step. You will never get those people. They will keep taking advantage of everything that you've had, that you're doing, and they will never, ever take the next step to work with you.
So important. If you don't ask for the date, you're not going to get the date. You don't have to go straight to get into bed with someone or to marry someone. Just go for that next date, right? Was the next step you can help people take with you. And I think keeping your messaging short and simple often now is good too, because people are just so overwhelmed with content. And there's a lot of people talking about an omnipresent marketing strategy nowadays, where you get your messaging out to lots and lots of different places. Now, a lot of people do get overwhelmed with this. They think, oh my gosh, it's hard enough just managing one social media platform, let alone 10 of them. What are your thoughts around getting out on a whole lot of different platforms? You did mention to focus on some where your ideal clients are going to be, but what about getting out on others where you don't know necessarily whether your ideal clients are going to be there, like maybe TikTok or Pinterest or those kind of platforms?
Yeah, so I've just made the decision that I'm going to focus on the top platforms where most of the people are on, and those I call the edutainment platforms. So they're education based with a little bit of entertainment, and that's what I've made the decision. So I'm an expert in those spaces. I spend 80%, and I teach people to spend 80% of their time on their income producing channels and get really good at them and get them making money. So if you've got 5 channels and you're spending 20% of all your time on each of them, it's going to take you 5 times longer to make money. Does anyone understand that? Whereas if I've now got 2 platforms and I'm spending 50% of my time here, 50% of my time here, you're going to be a lot closer to making money, right? So spend 80% of your time on your income producing platforms and get to know the platforms well. Make sure that they have been set up correctly, because most people have not set up their platforms correctly. And if they haven't if you have a car and it doesn't have a steering wheel, it's not going to drive. You can't use it, right? So you have to make sure that those platforms are set up properly and you actually know how to use them.
Yeah, great idea. Now, some people might be thinking, well, what does that mean? What does setting up properly mean?
Setting it up. So firstly, when most of us set up our platforms, it goes through a process, okay? And when I say this, you're actually going to remember the process. It'll go, add in your business name, and then it'll go, add in your URL, and you'll go, oh, I'll do that later. So now you haven't set up your URL, right? So you actually haven't set up your handle for your business. Then it goes, add your bio. Oh, just slap in my website for now, and I'm not actually going to write anything. I'll do that later. All right, add in your description. Oh, I don't really want to do that right now. I'll come back and I'll do that. I'll just say, I sell thingy-majiggy-madoodas. And they go. And what they don't realize is that the platforms rely on the content that you input in specific places to help them train the algorithm to connect you with the right people. We can use words like SEO, but really you can use words like key messaging, but the words that you put into every single platform helps the platform connect you with other people. So if you don't do it or haven't set it up properly, it's not going to work. The amount of people I've gone into where they've got an old phone number that hasn't been used in 3 years. I had another company I worked with. I messaged them and I said, do you know that your call to action button is taking people to WhatsApp and you don't have WhatsApp? And she said, I've had that for 3 years. It's been set up that people must go to WhatsApp, and they should have been going to my website for 3 years.
Wow.
And she didn't even have a WhatsApp account. It was set up to WhatsApp. She didn't even use it or check it. So set up your platforms, check your platforms. Every time there's a new update that comes in, things go haywire and they get sent all over the place, to make sure that everything's been set up properly. You've put the right content into everything. You've updated your products. You've updated your shop. You've put the relevant keywords in for your market right now, for the buyer right now. You've updated that. Make sure that you do that stuff on an ongoing basis, because then it's going to work. The platform can work better. So for example, on Instagram, your bio is a lot shorter, it's a lot sweeter, but it has to have keywords in there. So if you're location-based business, if you're not putting in Gold Coast in your Gold Coast business, you're going to be connecting with the world rather than just Gold Coast. So you've got to make sure that these platforms are all set up correctly and you're using them right.
Yeah, that's gold. What you don't monitor, you can't manage, as they say. And it's kind of like the online dating profiles. Like I see some of these online dating profiles, go, I'll fill this in later. And you think, who is this person? Sometimes people put as their profile photo, they'll actually put 10 different people. And you think, well, which one is it in here? So, if you confuse people, you lose people, right? So, how serious are you about finding, the right people to work with or play with, whichever way you're going to go in your area? Otherwise, you don't put the right details in your dating profile. You could get some spammer from India or someone, French art dealer who's actually from Nigeria, so you just never know what you could end up with if you don't fill out your profile properly. If you don't,
And if you don't know how to use it, like if you don't know what a spammy post is, I get people sending me screenshots, like my clients sending me screenshots every single day. So please don't do that if this is a client privilege, but they can send me screenshots and go, is this email right? Or is this notification right? And it's like, no, it's not. Like if you learn how to use the platforms, you can actually see that it's not actually a proper email address, or you can actually see that somebody set up a dodgy profile. And then they go, oh, must I click in it? I'm like, no, don't click it. Like hit the 3 dots and report, and block the person. So this is why I think I'm very different in everything that I do, because a lot of marketing agencies, they might manage your marketing for you, but they're not teaching you how to do this. Like they're not teaching the basics, and they're not supporting you in doing it. And somebody has to be able to help you with that stuff and show you how to use it. Like it's foundational stuff, but it's so important.
And often people are so close to what they do, they don't see the gems of what they do or how to communicate that effectively. So yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. Now, for people who do want to work with you, Chantal, where can they go? How can they do that?
Yeah, no worries at all. Thank you so much. So it is Chantal Gerardy, and the business is called onlinebusinessmarketing.com.au. If you'd like to have a look at the podcast is called the Meaningful Marketing Podcast, and it is across all different platforms. I specialize in working with purpose-led business owners and their marketing teams. So whether or not they're in-house marketing teams, like Australian in-house marketing teams, or whether or not they've got offshore virtual assistants, I specialize in helping them come up with their marketing strategy, proactive content marketing plans to generate more leads and clients, and empowering the business owner and their virtual assistants as well in managing their marketing so that they can make it more meaningful, have more fun, and simply get results.
Fantastic. So that's onlinebusinessmarketing.com.au. And if you ever get a chance to see Chantal speak, she's often doing a lot of speaking gigs around the place. We're both finalists in an award coming up, the Inspire Awards as well. So that'll be interesting. We'll be neck to neck on this award. I think it's Influential Business Leader. One of them anyway. We're finalists, and we've been finalists in other awards together too. And this is a beautiful thing, collaboration, right? It's not competition, it's collaboration. There's some people who are going to want to work with me in marketing, some people are going to want it with you. We've got very different styles, we've got different ways of doing things, and here we are lifting each other up. And I think this is so important in business and in life, because there's enough business out there for everyone, right? There's an abundance out there. And I love what you shared too about just going back to what you said about the 15-minute thing doesn't work for you, and that you get on a roll and you get in flow. And I love that. And there's a Pomodoro technique out there that some people really love, which is 25 minutes focused attention and then 5-minute break, 25 minutes focus, 5-minute break. And there's some different music you can put on the background that'll actually say to you, now it's time to have a break, and things like that after 25 minutes. And so there's some interesting tools and tips out there. I think essentially though, look at what is it in your business that, if you consider Pareto's principle of 80-20, what is it you put 20% effort in, you're going to get 80% result. What has been working for you in business up to this point? Who have you loved to work with? How have you found the current customers that you've worked with? And just double down, right? Just really get into what's been working and do more of that. Any final tips or ideas before we come to how people can work with me?
Yeah, I'm just going to play on what you said over there. It's everything you said is absolutely phenomenal, but now go put it in your diary. So go allocate specific time in your diary to do it, because if you're all listening to Aldwyn and myself have this chat, go and put it in your diary that I'm going to work on my marketing. And even if it's just an hour a week, do it. If I'm going to have a marketing management hour, if I'm going to have a marketing strategy hour, go put it in your diary right now, because if it's not in there, you're not going to do it. And set it up as a reoccurring appointment. That's what I do. And put it in a time of the day that's good for you. So for example, I know that when I'm doing strategy stuff, or I'm building a new thing, or I've got to be right or creative, I'll wake up at 4:00 in the morning and I'll do my 3 hours then, because I'm uninterrupted. I'm an early morning person. That's a good time for me. So get to know yourself. Set yourself up for success, not failure. That's what I'm going to say. Set yourself up for success.
I love that. Make a date with yourself as well with all of this. Make a date with yourself. There's a lot of dating going on this marketing is very much like dating, isn't it? In fact, I saw you're in Sydney too. You see the lady that came out, Oksana, I think her name was. She came out on stage in a wedding gown, right? And talking about marketing in a wedding gown, saying you don't want to marry people straight away, right? So yes, lead people to the sale, whatever that looks like for you. Mr. Ruler, good to see you there. Mr. Ruler 34 on Instagram. And we are just about to wrap up the show. So please let us know what you thought of this show in the comments here. We have Rachel Gascoigne. He says, short is good. I've always gone short. Do you like short content? Short men, short content,
You're
right?
talking about your husband now, Rachel.
I
Don't
do
tell
believe
one.
Yeah. Size does matter, but sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so and look, horizontally, we're all it just doesn't matter. So that's the main thing. Rachel, good work there. Well done, well done. Now, for those who want to work with me, just hop along to linktr.ee/Aldwyn's got all my links. Now, I do have an event, my first event for 2025, coming up on the 3rd of January. And it's called Propel Your Profile in 2025. So details on that are in my linktree/Aldwyn. Also, you'll see there's some free media resources. You'll see a calendar link to book a call with me if you want to have a chat. And I help people be seen, heard, and known through the mass media. So if you want to talk about that, hop in there. If you want to come on one of my shows, let's have a conversation. You'll see everything there. Now, for some free marketing, here's a bonus for you. The Global Good News Challenge happens every single month. Great way to share gratitude and good news. Check out the Global Good News Challenge Facebook page, which you'll also find in my linktree/Aldwyn there. Now, some people go to my Linktree and they see a million links in there. Yes, there's a lot going on in there. However, just look for the headlines, okay, and just go and connect wherever you want to connect in there. There are headlines on all of those links, so just go through there, and if you're on YouTube, connect there, Instagram, etc., etc. So that's how you can work with me, and let's connect there. Any final comments, Chantal, before we wrap up today?
You can do it.
Yes,
you can do it, but you can do it. But and just get used to not always liking what you have to do, but it is certainly worth it. So have a positive attitude about it, remain grateful, and you can honestly do it, but choose your attitude.
Yeah, I love that. And what are we going to see in the future for you, Chantal? I know you've always got a lot going on. So what's 2025 going to hold for you?
2025, I mean, we've got a software company that we launched this year, so obmhub.com. It's an all-in-one marketing platform. We've been working on that. And we've been creating lead magnet funnels for businesses, so done for you. A lot of businesses have come to us and said, look, I need a done for you lead magnet funnel. So that's what we've been doing for business owners. We're blessed enough to also be a grant approved provider, so we're doing a lot of that. I will be going to the Philippines and walking the 50 kilometers for charity again this year. I am presenting at the Agro conference in June. And I'll also be at the Business Blueprint in February in February as well. So just continue to just share my juice with the world.
Yay. Well, you're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much for being our guest here on Media Queen TV. Let's give a round of applause to Chantal Gerardy. Yay. Thank you. And actually, you were so good today, Chantal. I'm actually going to give you the clap. Yay. Thank you so much. Sending you all much love. And here we go. Much love today. Much love for an amazing festive season if we don't see you before then. And check out Chantal's stuff. She's phenomenal. Check out my stuff. Let's connect. Stay connected. As Gandhi says, be the change you wish to see in the world. Do you have a favorite quote or motto, actually, in closing? A favorite quote or motto you like to share, Chantal?
I just say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again, expecting a different result. So yes. I live my life by that rule. So
yeah, I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a beautiful day wherever you are. We'll see you next time. See you. Bye. See you. Let us know what